Hey everyone, welcome to Circuits. This is episode 4, and as you can see, we're in a slightly more modern aircraft. This is the Cirrus SR20T. I think I got that right. But yeah, as you can see, really lovely little thing. Gorgeous looking and wonderfully designed, well, redesigned or modelled, I should say, that's the right word, by a great company called Carenado, and I've got a lot of their aircraft just because they are superb. So let's get her fired up, and I'll tell you where we are as we're doing that. So I do know how to start this, but that's pretty much as far as it goes because, yeah, I've never flown this thing before at all. So this is going to be interesting. So batteries on, and then our fuel, that used to be rich, which it is. Fuel booster on. That should do it. And then it's really simple as that. So avionics should get rid of that low volts thing, yep. And let's put some lights on, at least a strobe nav, and we'll save the, we don't need any ice protection. We don't need ice protection because we are in sunny California. Now you can see this is where we are now. This is actually San Francisco International, and we are situated here at San Carlos Airport. Now it's quite an interesting airfield, or airport really, it's not an airfield, because we're kind of encased by the town. So what we're going to do is take off, fly around, see how the aircraft performs, have a look in, take in the sights, and come back and land. All while trying to stay out the way of these big airports. As you can see, there's about 9 or 10 airports and airfields surrounding where we are. So it's a really busy area. Luckily for us, we have traffic turned off for the time being. So without further ado, I think we're ready to go. The other thing to say is that this aircraft is, I didn't crack the throttle. I should have, for the start up sequence, I should have moved this forward a little bit. Anyway, we started up fine. Yeah, you taxi using your toe brakes or differential brakes, which is quite challenging, so bear with me and I'll do my best. There's a very fine line between steering with the brakes on the and coming to a full stop, which is what we don't want really. So I'm going to try my hard. No, almost, yeah. I'm going to try not to come to a full stop, but it's a new skill for me, this. Most of the aircraft I fly react to the rudder, but this doesn't. Once the airspeed comes alive on the takeoff roll, then it becomes alive. But yeah, for the time being, at slow speeds, it's pretty much useless. So I'm just going to slow us down. We're just getting a little bit carried away. I'm going to put one stage of flaps down and head on to runway 30, hopefully without coming to a complete standstill. Come on. This is really challenging for me. Please bear with me. There's a barometric pressure. Right, that's all set. So as we come around the corner, I'll turn the landing lights on, feed in a bit more power, and hopefully we'll be on our merry way. The weather is alright. There are some clouds around, as you can see. But rightio. Okay, so now let's go for this. Alright, so now the rudder is working. So looking for 75 knots. Okay, we can rotate. So yeah, I mean that's pretty challenging for me. I need to get used to that. It's not something I'm used to doing. So we're climbing out at about 90 really, should be, so we can put our flaps up. And let's have a look at the scenery, very nice. Speed is jumping around a bit. I wonder whether we've got a bit of wind. I didn't check the ATIS as usual. There could be a few storms forming, to be honest. It's a bit hazy, and we've definitely got some bigger clouds around. Yeah, we've definitely got a bit of turbulence here. Anyway, it's all right. We can handle it. And there's San Francisco International, just off in the distance there in the haze. You can see the red pappy lights there. So we'll continue to climb up to about 2,000 and then level off. I'm going to pull the speed down a bit. We're definitely in a little bit of turbulence here. Just riding out. Trimming down a little bit. It's quite difficult in this turbulence. If you look at the sea, you can see that you know, the waves are fairly significant actually, especially over there. If you look over there, that signifies that there's quite a lot of wind, and the fact that we're bouncing around. Right, so we're just coming up to 2,000, so I'm going to trim down. I'm going to power down a little bit as well. And hopefully we can get the aircraft nice and trimmed. We'll do a right hand turn. Yeah, we're definitely getting blown about a bit up here. It's going to make the landing interesting. Okay. Ooh. Alright. Yeah, we're definitely building storms, perhaps. Let's see. Alright, so we're trimming her out. I'm just reducing the power a little bit, which is always a good thing to do if you experience turbulence. Not this isn't really severe turbulence, but it would be quite uncomfortable, especially for our passengers in the back. Let's see how they're doing. Oh no, they've fallen out. Oh well. So yeah, I don't know how much you guys know about flying. I'm yakking on about stuff here, and like I said, you might have found these videos. Oh yeah, did you see that lightning? There's definitely a storm, which is bad news actually. Anyway, we'll see how that develops. We'll stay away from those black looking clouds, I think, so we'll just feed a bit of rudder in and just get our turn moving bit more. I'm just going to demonstrate a few things, just really the basics of flight. It's going to make it a little bit difficult in this weather, but anyway, we can do the very first stages. So what I was going to talk about while we're up here, and again, I'm sorry if I'm teaching you to suck eggs. I have very little knowledge really in the scheme of things. I'm very much a student, and like I said, I'm learning in the real world, but I use this a lot to try and practice various things. So one of the things that people often think is that when you want to descend, you push down on the yoke and you descend, your nose comes down, and when you want to ascend, you pull up and the nose comes up. Now of course all of that is true, but what happens when you descend by pushing the nose down and not doing anything else is that your airspeed will quickly accelerate. So in order to stop that from happening, you can actually control the pitch of the aircraft by the power setting. So for example, if let's just get this trimmed out a little bit more. Alright, let's try and get this some kind of level, straight and level-ish. almost there. Okay, now we've got a bit of turbulence, so we will bob around a bit. But that's basically trimmed out, more or less. Now if I decrease the power, see, it's not doing it as dramatically as I wanted because of the turbulence, but eventually the nose will drop as the airspeed comes down. Basic physics. And if I increase the power, then eventually we'll battle the air, the moving air around us, and the nose will come up. So it's a really simple basic principle, but I don't know how many people who are not into flying might not, I don't know, you might not know that. So when you're coordinating a turn and when you're ascending and descending, you very much are using, especially in these smaller aircraft, well, and in jets as well, bigger jets, you're using power to adjust the you know, the nose, whether we're ascending or descending. Of course you are also using the yoke as well, but whenever you adjust the power, that will affect your trim settings, so you have to re-trim and make sure that that's all sorted out. Anyway, I don't know, maybe let me know if you find that sort of stuff interesting. That's like really basic stuff, but like I said, I'm not an expert, and I don't want to tell you stuff that's wrong, so I'll only tell you stuff if it's relevant, really, and if I definitely know what I'm talking about. But I'm certainly not a teacher in this line of work. I'm not, like I said, I don't even have a PPL. I'm working towards one. I'm some way off of that. Another thing you might not know, looking at these clouds here, with a PPL license, you're not allowed to go into clouds. You have to stay under the cloud base. You have to do a separate exam, instrument rating, to be able to fly into clouds. Because that's a whole other set of skills that is very different to VFR, which is what we're doing, visual flight rules, versus IFR, which is instrument flight rules. So two very different ways of flying. They both have their challenges. You know, they're not. It's not like visual is easier than instruments, or instruments is harder. I mean, they're both challenging in their own way. And the other thing is, with a PPL license, you're not allowed to fly at night, so you've got to do another exam for that as well. So as you can see, learning to fly on that sort of level is pretty expensive and time consuming, but it's something I would like to aspire to do over the course of some years. But in the meantime, we can do a lot of practice in this flight simulator. You can actually log hours in the flight sim that go towards your license. It's not very many. I think it's 2 or something like that. But you can actually log hours, which is cool, because that tells you how accurate this can be if you use it in the right way. It tells you that they acknowledge the accuracy and the realism, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we're coming up to, I guess, the kind of base leg. There's the airfield over there, just off to the right. A bit concerned about that ominous black cloud in front of us. What we might do, I don't think we're going to go into it. We'll just maybe descend down to 1500 just to make sure, because again, when you've got storms around, you don't have to fly into the storm to get turbulence. The air around a storm cell is turbulent as well, so I think we're alright. I think we're doing okay. But we are bobbing around. Like I said, this is going to make for an interesting landing in this weather, and also having never landed this plane before in my life. So this is bound to go pretty wrong, but we'll see. Oops, so we're just creeping up there. Alright, so I'm going to start to configure this into some kind of shape for landing. So we'll put one, we need to really start to come back on the throttle. It's perhaps a bit fast to put the flaps down there. I've gone to one stage of flaps. And basically we're just going to kind of gradually line up with the runway and get our descent under control. And not panic about the weather, just let it just sort of ride it out. These planes are pretty sturdy and they can take a bashing, especially this particular plane. This is pressurized as far as I understand. I can't tell you any more details than that really, but yeah, as far as I know it is pressurized, and so it can go up pretty high, hence the name Cirrus, which is of course a type of cloud. Okay, so we're going to lose a bit of height here because we're way too high, and I'm going to do that by not pushing forward on the yoke, but decreasing the throttle. Right, that's probably quite low enough. Even the PAPI lights are telling us otherwise. So we're going to go another stage of flaps, and we're going to just hopefully ease this thing down without... I don't know what the landing speeds are. I'm going to aim for about 80-ish. I hope that's roughly right. I guess we'll find out. But this probably isn't going to be pretty, guys.
500.
That did scare me a little bit there. Okay, so we're on the glide path. I'm going to pull up a little bit because I don't want us to dip below that. Feed in a little bit of power, a little bit of rudder, just to line us up a bit more. And excuse me while I just move slightly away from the microphone. I hope you can still hear me. Right, and I'm going to try and be quiet while I concentrate on this. Dear. Right, trying to bleed off some of that speed. We're not going to get a stall warning. Anyway, that's a really long landing, so I'm really stepping on the brakes now. Oh dear. Are we going to go off the edge, off the end? Probably. Oh. Close, very close. Anyway, yeah, not the greatest landing in the world, but I didn't expect that, to be honest. I actually forgot how short this runway is. I don't know if this is an international. I'll have to look that up. I don't think it is, but anyway, we're down. I'm surprised it didn't rain actually, but there's definitely some storms in the area as we discovered. So we're going to slowly taxi back. Our flaps can go back to neutral, and we just kind of clear up a little bit. Our landing lights can come off so we don't blind the stewards. Not that there are any, but it's good to try and do things by the book, he says. Not listening to the ATIS, not having a chart, etc, etc, not using ATC. Anyway, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you did. I'm only going to get better with this plane. Like I said, the first time I've taken it out for a spin. I think we'll do maybe a couple more flights in it. Maybe like 2 or 3 flights in each one. In different places, different conditions. So let's see if I can see him. Not. Oops. Anyway, right. We'll just get this into the parking area. I'm completely taxiing all over the place. I'd be shot down for this. Right, I've chosen one. I'll go to this stand here. Alright, there we go. So we'll power down. And just turn everything off. Back to a normal state. We'll turn the fuel off. And we'll set the parking brake. And everything else is good. So I did enjoy that. I hope you did. Like I said, it's a new plane. I'm going to get better at it. Give me some tips, you know, be nice about it. As I said, this is, oh, I didn't put the flaps up. Okay, never mind. But yeah, if you fly this regularly and you know, you can offer some useful tips, especially with taxiing and landing, that would be really useful. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I've decided the next video, episode 5, we're going all the way to the Caribbean. To the Bahamas, and we're going to have a little fly around. I think, excuse me, we're going to go to the airport called Rock Sound, and just because I like the sound of it, haha, no pun intended, and we'll fly around there. Again, I don't know what the weather's like. It's going to be real world weather, and we'll fly in this. I wouldn't mind having another crack in this plane. Really enjoying flying it. It's very smooth, a lot of fun. The taxiing is a little different, as I said, but hopefully I'll get used to that. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me, and please like and share and comment if you want me to fly to your airport or a particular destination. Then write in the comments below, and we'll go and do it. All right, take care, guys. See you soon.